Hoosiers welcome the 5th-seeded Colorado Buffaloes in the first of many matches on this Friday night. Hello everybody, couldn't be happier to be with you this evening alongside Luke Brenneman. I'm Graham Nash. We'll hear from Josie Broyles in just a bit. But Luke, before we get anywhere, let's take a look at this Texas quadrant where both of these teams currently sit in the second round. The top seed Texas and Penn State, the defending national champions, still yet to play their openers, those both happening tonight. And looking at Colorado and Indiana, they are the only two teams in the same quadrant in the round one matches yesterday to sweep their respective matches. You can see both of them 3 sets to American and Toledo 0. They put on dominant performances on Thursday.
And that's big, Graham. They set the tone, and in large part because of these two right here. Sidney Jordan, a junior captain for Colorado, had his 15 kills sound, and for the dynamic freshman Jaden Jagger, 6th career double-double, unbelievable stuff. She gets better every single match and has just been so impressive. We're gonna have a big-time bout tonight. This is one of the matchups that when the 4 and 5 seed advanced, that was predicted, people were circling. Keep an eye on this one tonight. A lot of talent on the court.
It truly should be a phenomenal matchup. Indiana, as you just saw, making a lot of history this season, looking for just a bit more. The Hoosiers trying to get to the Sweet 16 for the 2nd time in program history. The Buffaloes trying to do it for the 5th time in program history. Take a look at your starting lineups for both sides. Before we get going, quick note, Maddie Sell wearing number 6 tonight. That we were just told right before this match began, right before we came on. But it should be fun nonetheless. Other than that, everything the same as it was yesterday for both of these two sides. They got some heavy hitters everywhere you look, Luke.
You start with Indiana. Candela Alonso Cortez, the winningest player in Indiana volleyball history, over 70 career wins as a Hoosier. She is going to be a professional player when her career is over, but she continues to try and prove that she may be going down as one of the greatest Hoosiers of all time. You flip it on the other side of the court for the Buffaloes. Look out for Anna Burilovic, dynamic outside hitters. They have some serious mustard on it when they rise up, Graham. It's going to be a fun one tonight. 2 athletic teams, 2 teams that play similarly. We'll see who starts off hot.
2 teams looking to get back to the Sweet 16 for the first time since the 2010s. Teodora Krichkovic gets us started. We've got volleyball in Wilkinson Hall. And a quick touch for Burilovic. There's Jaden Jagger, and the Buffaloes look to be ready.
That's Spławska. She can rise up. She had a huge opening round. Now ball in hand early on, but this Colorado team, at times they can seem one-dimensional, playing to their outside hitters. Their defense is what has to show up tonight on the road to give them a chance.
Avery Tatum doesn't misfire too often. That's first attempt and a hitting error for Avery Tatum. She's coming off a strong game yesterday, hit above 330, 9 kills on 18 attempts. Indiana gonna look to get her going early and often. And that's another thing to talk about, errors. That's going to be really a big deciding factor in this match.
When you look at how both of these teams swept yesterday, both straight sets, but I thought it was a lot different, Graham. I was on the call for the Indiana-Toledo match. I thought the Rockets put up a lot more of a fight than American did to Colorado. Granted, American hadn't played a Power 4 team this entire year. Toledo was riding an extreme hot hand. They were the Mid-American Conference champions. They beat a 17-1 Ball State team. So Indiana, as easy as it looks on the stat sheet, straight sets, they were challenged yesterday. Colorado, maybe a little bit more fresh on the road tonight.
Krichkovic wants Sell. Burilovic finds the high hands and tools the block.
Colorado looks focused to start early on right now, Graham. After a couple conversations throughout the week with Jesse Mahoney, their head coach, he is all business.
I think you could say the same thing about Steve Aird for Indiana. Both of these teams, their head coaches are all work, no play. And it's going to be an exciting matchup, both very experienced with their respective teams. This is season number 8 for Steve Aird at Indiana. Jesse Mahoney for Colorado, season number 10. Burilovic again. Indiana gets the point. The Buffaloes wanted a touch. They're not going to get it.
That's big for Indiana. Start of set one, the atmosphere here at Wilkinson Hall has always just been one of the best in the country, not just the Big Ten. And that's why they built this place a couple years ago, to host marquee events like this. Little did they know, hiring Steve Aird and parlaying it into Wilkinson Hall, well, your team would also be hosted because they're a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament.
And it looks like we're going to review already. Colorado wants a challenge, saying that there was a block touch. The challenge rules, each head coach allowed 2 challenges per match. If a challenge is successful, then the team retains the challenge. If it's not, then the challenge is lost. And if we go to a 5th set, then each side will get 1 extra challenge. But notice that Colorado going immediately to Anna Burilovic. She's a first-team All-Big 12 member, led the Big 12 in kills this season with 546. Hard to tell from that angle. That's another aspect, is if it's definitive. If it's not definitive, then it's going to be hard to overturn.
I'm not seeing anything from that angle that would give you clear and obvious evidence to overturn the call. Indiana was granted the point, so if this is flipped, it would be 5-2 Colorado. Early on in this set, though, Graham, you start looking at kind of some matchups inside the overarching bout between Indiana and Colorado. And yeah, you're going to talk about the stars. You're going to talk about the marquee freshman for Indiana, Jaeger, and the setter, Krejcikovic. This is a better look at it here. Still tough to see. I understand why the challenge came out. But nonetheless, the stars are going to have to shine brightest. That's what the NCAA tournament's all about. The unstoppable proving why they are unstoppable, but the role players for both of these teams. When we talked about Colorado in the Open, Graham, the shot was of Sydney Jordan. Jordan's second on this team with 2.5 kills per set, but she had 15 kills in the opening round win against American yesterday. She needs to be that second punch alongside Burilovic. And for Indiana, Avery Tatum is right there neck and neck with Alonso Cortez. Those two are so dynamic.
And then you throw Jaden Jaeger into the mix for Indiana. She has been phenomenal, playing all 6 rotations for Indiana, adding that depth in the back row. She can pass, she can hit from the back row, a really good, talented freshman arm. Coach Steve Aird has said as the season has progressed that she is just one of the most impressive freshmen that he has coached in a long time. And the call is reversed. Colorado wins the challenge. Jesse Mahoney will keep both of his challenges going forward. Never too early for a challenge in an NCAA matchup.
Absolutely not. You want to set the tone, especially for the Buffaloes on the road.
And so Burilovic is going to go back to serve. She will also occasionally take swings from the back row. Alonso Cortez, nice effort just getting that over in a tough spot. And off the hands, Sydney Jordan, there's the second piece of the puzzle for the Buffaloes.
Jordan off to a fantastic start in this tournament. We mentioned what she did yesterday, and Burilovic yesterday wasn't typically as good as she normally is. She only hit 161 for hitting percentage, so Jordan really carried the Buffaloes in the firepower department, if you will.
Tatum searching for her first kill. We'll have to wait a bit longer. Jordan misses everything.
Now approaching the first 10 points of this opening set, Graham. It looks like Indiana's going kind of for the knockout kill. Obviously, with a dynamic setter like Krejcikovic and the outside hitters, they're going for the power. The defense from the Buffaloes strong early on.
And there's the first service error for the Hoosiers. Each side now with 1 service error. Indiana, the second fewest service errors in the Big Ten this season, coming in just over 220. That's been an area where they've really prided themselves. And as for the Buffaloes, 265 service errors, pretty middle of the pack in the Big 12. And again, that's going to be a big, big storyline as this match progresses. Who's able to keep it clean coming down the stretch? Back row attack, Burilovic. Just missed on the cut shot. Indiana's block in a really good position there.
That front line for Indiana, they're dynamic, and it's really all come together because of the freshman Victoria Gray. She's filled a void at the start of the season that came about with some injuries, but right now, Graham, a lot of unforced errors. It's now our 4th service error that we've already seen in this one. It's kind of been a slow start, not a lot of long points. Maybe a trend to look out for the deeper we get into this opening set and, of course, the rest of the match. At this point in the season, you can't beat yourself.
Finley to the outside, and Sydney Jordan picking up right where she left off from yesterday. No quit.
She's having her way right now, Graham, and she's getting extremely high off that vertical leap to that near side. Indiana's blockers are there and well positioned, even off a high set, but she's just overpowering it through them.
And then another error. Maybe a little bit of nerves. Second round of the NCAA tournament, both sides trying to get back to the regional semifinal for the first time since the 2010s.
You would have to think, how could there not be nerves? A crowd like this, especially for Colorado on the road, but Indiana in the negative percentage via the hitting percentage. And right on with that one right there. Maybe just a little bit too powerful, trying to do too much. We know Steve Aird. He doesn't put any added pressure on his group. He doesn't want them to be satisfied coming into a matchup like this. But settling early on is important.
That's the 3rd service error for the Hoosiers. There's the 4th for Colorado. Neither team can put it in play right now. For a little bit of context, the Buffaloes only had 5 service errors the entire match yesterday against American. They have 4 right now. The Hoosiers had 6 total service errors against Toledo. They're currently at 3. Phenomenal dig there. And Indiana able to capitalize, all starting with Hannah Leftridge.
That trio of freshmen for Indiana, Avery Freeman, Hannah Leftridge, and Audrey Jackson, they all rotate that defensive specialist libero spot, and they've been a huge piece of Steve Aird's puzzle to get the Hoosiers to this point. A nice start for Leftridge.
Indiana's been trying to search for some consistency in that libero position all season long. Maybe starting to find it with Leftridge. That was a great dig from Krichkovich. Indiana out of system, they just had to get it over. Burilovich finds the high hands. Burilovich, you mentioned a little bit earlier, Luke, only hit about 160 in yesterday's match. She's hit below 200 in each of Colorado's last 3. Tatum tools the block. If you want someone to step up and respond, you go right to Avery Tatum.
Of course, same with Candela Alonso-Cortez. We haven't really seen her get going. Same with ball in hand right now on the serve, Jaden Jager. Kind of been a slow start, Graham, and I think the service errors really do take a lot out of the momentum. It's hard to settle in. An ace there for Indiana. That plays a role. Now you hear the crowd getting involved. The bench gets involved a little bit. This sport is just so heavily momentum-based in the sense where Indiana was able to go on these 3 to 5 point runs yesterday against Toledo. That was the difference. Colorado dominated American from start to finish.
And that was the first service ace of the match. There are already 7 service errors between these two teams. Cortez with a tip. She's got an unbelievable arm, swings incredibly quickly, but she's also got the feel and the touch.
Has every shot in the book, Graham. Finesse, power, skill, size, length. And she brings it when it matters most. An unbelievable effort yesterday.
Alonso Cortez recently drafted 11th in the 2025 MLV draft as the Indiana block continues to perform. But Alonso Cortez was taken above a couple of big names in the draft playing currently in college volleyball. Thinking specifically of maybe Eva Hudson, outside hitter for Kentucky, transfer from Purdue. She's been phenomenal. Cortez just has that natural ability. One-arm dig from Jager. The Buffaloes out of system. Burilovich into a block. Finley right back to her. Krichkovich with a one-arm dig. Tatum puts it down. 2
That's the best point of the tournament so far from the Indiana Hoosiers. You get the backline dig with one arm from Jaeger. You get the wall up on the line from the middle blockers. Krichkovich digs one out. You get it put away on the far side. That caps off a 5-0 round, Graham.
And Colorado wants a timeout. Indiana, a 13-11 lead. Wilkinson Hall is loud. We'll be right back on ESPN+. Welcome back to Wilkinson Hall, where there's a dynamic duo in town. Josie, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I use Avery Tatum and Candela Alonso Corcelis are described in the media as a dynamic duo. Coach Aird actually described their personalities as polar opposites, but when they are shown on the court, they're bringing their friendship and teammate and scoring ability to the powerhouse, just making the awesome dynamic duo for IU. Really shows something and what IU is bringing to this tournament today against Colorado. Back to you guys in the booth.
All right, thank you so much, Josie. Alonso Cortheas just got her second kill of the night as Barilovic responds, finally using that big Indiana block and putting it out of play. But Alonso Cortheas and Tatum, when they perform together at a high level, Indiana is nearly unbeatable.
The Hoosiers were 7-1 in conference play in 2025 when both Tatum and Alonso Cortheas combined for 10-plus kills each. So when their stars show up, Indiana is almost unbeatable in arguably the best college conference for college volleyball.
That's up for debate maybe this season. There are 10 Big 12 teams in the NCAA tournament, only 9 from the Big 10. But the Big 10 has been recognized as the top of the crop, the cream of the crop in college volleyball.
Especially when it comes to recruiting. But right there, Victoria Gray, this is why Indiana is figuring it out. This is why Indiana is here. Gray to fill the middle blocker position and be as versatile as she's been, as a threat offensively in situations like that. Indiana is on a run and a half right now, Grant.
Wow, it's a big kill from Kayla Payne on the slide set. And to get a little bit more into Victoria Gray, you mentioned she didn't necessarily play a lot of time as we take a look at Jesse Mahoney, head coach of the Buffaloes. Gray didn't play a ton to begin the season, then Ella Borsema went down with an injury. Her number was called, and since then, she has been a staple of this Indiana team.
And that's what it is this time of year. You can't rely on one player. You gotta be dynamic, and Gray having the previous Indiana kill the last time they won a point, it sets up Alonso Cortheas in a situation like that.
Colorado totally out of sorts. Alonso Cortheas takes advantage.
That's high IQ volleyball right there. You get an awkward touch on the Buffalo end. Alonso Cortheas puts it away with the right hand. No time to think about that or get positioned defensively.
And Colorado using its second timeout of the first set. They have no more in this first set, using it, trying to break this Indiana run. It's been quite the start to the first set. The Hoosiers up by 5. Wilkinson Hall is bumping. We'll be right back on ESPN+. The Hoosiers with a 5-point lead over the Buffaloes in set 1 of round 2. The winner trying to advance to the regional semifinal for the first time since the 2010s either way. Sydney Jordan couldn't find the floor, and Krichkovich puts it down.
Such a versatile setter, Graham. We saw her do that a number of times yesterday, where she's touching the ball on almost every single Indiana offensive possession. But she's mainly passing it to the outside hitters, so when you start cheating in that direction, boom, it's not against the rules to go right down Broadway and find a crease in the court.
Krichkovich over 50 kills this season, as Sydney Jordan provides a nice response. That's her 3rd kill of the night.
So looking at 2 different situations at this point now later into set 1. At a 19-14 Indiana lead, the Hoosiers are completely fine trading points the rest of the set with Colorado. The Buffaloes, they need to switch something up. Keep the ball in their servers' hands, gain momentum, and kind of slow down this Indiana home crowd.
Alonso Cortheas met with a block. Second chance. This time uses it. And she is rocking it and rolling hitting 50% from the floor in this game. 10 attempts already. There's no stopping Candela Alonso-Cortez when she gets going early in a match.
It was a double dip there. The first effort on the swing got blocked. Indiana was able to corral. They set back up Candy again. And she said the second time's the charm.
Back row attack, Barilovic, triple blocked and still finds a way to get it on the floor.
Buried it home. I mean, that is a wall right there, Graham. You said it. 3 Indiana defenders lined up. And I think it would have gone through them.
Barilovic, double-digit kills in 26 of 31 matches this season. Led the Big 12 in kills. Again, miscommunication from the Buffaloes. A free try for Indiana. Krejkovic can't do it that time. Alonso-Cortez with a great save off a Jordan swing. And Indiana converts with Jaeger.
How about the no-look set from Leftridge in that situation? Alonso-Cortez able to get a piece of it there. Pardon me. That was Audrey Jackson, the freshman libero. And the no-look back to the net set, perfect placement, able to give Jaeger a scoring opportunity.
The Hoosiers rolling in the red zone. Krejkovic wanted Maddie Sell. The timing just not quite there. That's only the 3rd attacking error of the set for Indiana. The Hoosiers hitting over 400 in this first set. It has been so dynamic, using all of their tools.
They're having their way right now, Graham, and it feels like now is the time when Colorado's got to make a push.
Alonso-Cortez from the back row nearly had another. Hoosiers out of system. Jaeger. Jaeger can't get the tip either. She gets it a 3rd time, and it's the charm.
Jaden Jaeger, relentless, gritty, tough. And did I say athletic? 3 vertical jumps in a row on that final one. She didn't even get a running start. Just 2 feet leapt up and finally said, I've had enough of getting blocked at the net. Willed it home.
She's an all Big Ten second teamer, an all freshman teamer as well.
Good dig.
They go right back to her. Krejkovic mixing it up with Tatum. And the Hoosiers 2 points away from taking set 1.
That's an exact representation of what Jaeger has brought to this team. Her ability offensively to win the point before the last that we just saw. Krejkovic get this set, look in Jaeger's direction, and then say, oh, well, I casually have a professional right behind me to set up an Avery Tatum, and that's an easy dink.
Barilovic that time able to get it past Hannah Leftridge.
This has been a very, very impressive and all-business opening set, Graham. I remember the first 6 to 8 points of this set, Colorado was once up 5-2. It looked like they were going to set the tone on the road. That has not been the case.
Alonso-Cortez, nothing can go wrong right now.
Defense has got to be a little bit stronger for Colorado than that effort. Indiana was off schedule, kind of just sent one to the far sideline. Colorado out of position and not ready for it.
Set point for the Hoosiers. The Buffaloes out of system. Barilovic keeps Colorado alive. Part of the reason for the switch, Barilovic hitting below 300. Already 15 attempts for Anna Barilovic. Not only her 7th kill, Indiana felt like started to put up a really good block. Tatum just misses on that set. Wants a touch, isn't gonna get it.
Did Jessie Mahoney not recruit Avery Tatum or something? Because she sent that right at him in a hurry.
It was pretty quick reactions from Coach Mahoney. And Tatum misses again. Colorado creeping into the red zone.
It's now 3 straight from the Buffaloes, trying to make things interesting. I think this is a really good timeout here for Steve Aird.
First of the set for Steve Aird, as Colorado goes on a 3-0 scoring run to get this to a 4-point set. We'll be back with the conclusion of set 1 on ESPN+. The Buffaloes on a bit of a run in set 1. Feels like it's going to come down to Indiana's big hitter, Candela Alonso-Cortez, to end it. She has been phenomenal. 50% for her hitting percentage in set 1. 12 attacks, 6 kills, no errors. And they go right to her. And she does it. Set 1 belongs to the Hoosiers in Bloomington, as Indiana looks to advance to the regional semifinals for the first time since 2010. The Buffaloes looking for a response. Set 2 upcoming on ESPN+. Indiana takes set 1 in Wilkinson Hall, 25-20, looking to extend its lead over the Colorado Buffaloes. Elsewhere in the Austin, Texas bracket, Penn State is starting to make its move, winning its second set of its match, its first round match in this quadrant. South Florida putting up a bit of a fight. It's going to be interesting. Penn State defending national champions, but just didn't have the year that they were expecting.
No, and how about that second set? That's as lopsided as they come, Graham. 25-12. That's more than a double up from the Bulls out of South Florida. Speaking of Penn State, Indiana head coach Steve Aird, that's his alma mater, coach there, was a part of a couple of national championship teams. And Indiana went on the road in the regular season in Big Ten play, beat the Nittany Lions in State College, and that was the first time that the Indiana program had ever won there in Happy Valley. And that, along with the West Coast trip where Indiana swept UCLA and USC, just felt like another one of those building blocks proving that this could be a historical season for the Hoosiers. And now with a chance to go to the Sweet 16, they're up a set early on the Buffaloes.
The Buffaloes with their 6th service error of the game there. Indiana faced one of the best serving teams in the country yesterday in Toledo and kept it unbelievably clean. Their reception was phenomenal. Barilovic can't get it past Krichkovic. Great dig from Morton. Barilovic again. Blocked up front by Tatum and Sell. And for more on this matchup, Josie Broyles, take it away.
Anticipated for this team, and even though the stakes are high, Coach Aird stresses the importance of keeping it loose, he quotes. He says there are times throughout the year when he coaches pretty hard, but right now he doesn't want to put any more stress on them, and it's important to let them know that he loves them and is proud of his team. Avery Tatum actually commented that it shows that he has trust in his team, and that means so much to them. I'm going to toss it back to you, Graham and Luke.
All right, thank you, Josie. It's funny, when we talk to Steve Aird, Josie's exactly right, all business. He does not sit and, as he put it to us, smell the roses.
I love that. And why? He said, we have the entire offseason to watch the games back, to high-five each other, to talk about the records we broke. Why would we do it right now? We're still playing volleyball. We have a focus for this team and a vision, and they're not goal-oriented. The one goal that they really talked about was a 15-win mark in the Big Ten play. Indiana was 14-6. That's the most Big Ten wins in program history. And at the start of the season, Steve Aird told us, well, I thought that was lofty. He said, I let them set the goal. I wasn't going to jump in on it, but I personally thought it was a reach. Indiana was beat up last season. They didn't have their best year after being on the up and up in 2022 and 2023. But for this team to set a goal like that, to win 14 games and now be in a position, you can tell it's a player-driven team, and Aird and the staff just have their backs when need be.
Alonso-Cortez getting right back to work in set number 2. It's really interesting as well. That was a player-made goal. That was all from the players. The leadership, the seniors on this team have been monumental for the Indiana Hoosiers. Buffalo's trying to respond. Barilovic can't get it past Tatum.
Tatum and Gray. That sums up so many different 1-2 punches of this team. Freshman, senior, freshman, senior. It's a common parallel in Indiana's success.
That's the third block already in this match for Avery Tatum. She averages just above half a block per set coming into this matchup. And no one can get hands on that kill from Kayla Payne.
Payne had a big day yesterday in the win over American. She led this team, was a vocal leader with her size and physicality, especially against an American unit that hadn't played a Power 4 conference team the entire year. She dominated.
Finley right back to Payne, and she puts it into the shoulder of Audrey Jackson, who just couldn't quite get it up.
I think Payne and getting her going is really what the Buffs need right now after dropping set 1. Feels like there hasn't been too much energy coming from their bench and that side of the court. Granted, they are playing in one of the toughest environments in the country, but to get her going, she's loose. She's kind of a cannon. When she gets a point, you can tell she's loud, and maybe that picks up the rest of her team.
Tatum paints the line. Kayla Payne, just to continue the conversation, she had a .500 hitting percentage in that first set, but was only fed 4 times. 2 kills on 4 attacks. Seems like the Buffaloes trying to be a little less one-dimensional with Barilovic. As she goes right back to work, there's Payne again.
Kind of one of those situations where you start looking at the stats of yesterday. Payne had 6 kills, hit just under 400 for percentage. Why not get her involved every single time you can? With her size and agility, moving into that right hand, that set was unbelievable on the last point.
Slide set. Victoria Gray just can't get that one on the hardwood. It's interesting, Kayla Payne has had double-digit attacks in all of Colorado's last 6 matches. It's clear that they've been trying to get her involved, not just tonight, but over the end of the season. Overpass, and just strong. The Buffaloes looking at each other, wondering if there was a tip. No one signaled for it. And they're going to leave that point alone.
Loshada's serve there was a rocket, and it had Indiana on their heels. Colorado has got to capitalize on those opportunities. They didn't do it in the opening set, and now if you can into set 2, you start playing with your back against the wall.
Back row attack, Barilovic right into the triple block. Indiana right now ruthless with that wall up front.
That's the Indiana scouting report. When you talk to Steve Aird, Colorado has a dominant scorer in Barilovic in the kills column. But they're okay if Colorado gets to a point where they're one-dimensional trying to feed Barilovic.
Indiana has done phenomenally this season against teams that have one primary attacker, such as Penn State, who we talked about just a bit ago. Phenomenal dig from Morton. Jaeger can't get it with a tip. The joust won by the Buffaloes. These teams giving it all they got.
How about this point? Look at the one-handed dig, another one, and then Finley just overpowers Gray. That's an electric point. That's what Colorado's looking for.
Really interesting setter matchup in this game. Indiana yesterday had a major height advantage with Krichkovic going against Toledo's setter. This time, that height is pretty similar. It's going to give Indiana a bit more fits because Finley can do exactly what Krichkovic does, go up and dump it over.
Get crafty. Doesn't always have to be about the assist category, and both of them have strong enough volleyball IQs to the point where they know when to make the right play, and you saw it there.
Jordan paints the back corner, and all of a sudden the Buffaloes starting to come alive.
Both these teams get going. This is kind of when the NCAA tournament, in this round, especially the Sweet 16 and on, it's high-level volleyball automatic on both sides of the court. And whoever maybe gets a couple breaks, gets the big momentum boost, playing at home is huge for those teams that are able to host like Indiana. But you can see on that one, these are right there on the line, just off for Indiana. Granted, 9-9 count early on in set 2.
And that's the first hitting error of the night for Alonso Cortheas. Still hitting above 430. Jaeger off the high hands, another diving save for Morton. And Barilovic capitalizes. Colorado pumped up.
Morton plays big, Graham. The 5'8" senior out of Munster, Indiana. She is a stud. Double-digit digs versus American. It was her first double-digit dig performance since all the way back in November against TCU. She's getting going right now, and Colorado needs their senior tonight on the road in Bloomington.
And Indiana needs a bit more of Jaden Jaeger doing just that. She's hitting below 300 early on in this match, but that only the 10th attempt of the night for Jaeger. Haven't been feeding her as much because Alonso Cortheas has been so effective. Gorilovich right at Alonso Cortheas, and she'll send it over. That's an Indiana point. Everyone looking around for a tip. Dwinell couldn't quite find it.
That's a testament to where this Indiana defense has been. They were off schedule offensively, able to get it across with Candy. Colorado kind of had the tic-tac-toe, exactly the way they wanted it set up, just didn't find the line. Maybe a little bit too aggressive.
Gorilovich couldn't get that one past Leftridge. Tatum! Avery Tatum, her 5th kill of the night, starting to find her rhythm a little bit.
That's exactly why. That's a 2-point swing right there. The possession before, Colorado had the advantage. They got it to their outside hitter in space. She couldn't put it away. That time Avery Tatum does for the Hoosiers.
And a free try for Indiana. Tatum again. Wanted a tip, isn't gonna get it. That ends a 3-0 Hoosier run. It's been a back and forth second set.
Although Indiana leads by a point in the second set, I will say the pace of it is much more favorable for Colorado. It felt like that first set went by in a blink of an eye, and that's how Indiana wants you, especially at home. They speed you up. Next thing you know, they're going on a 7-0 run like they did at the midway point. Here, Colorado's taking their time a little bit more. They're kind of going back and forth. The Buffs haven't gone any too big of runs, and I still think that's coming for Coach Mahoney's squad.
Indiana, one of the fastest teams in the country, much less the Big Ten Conference, which is known for its speed. Finlay tried to get it to Dwinell again, but Maddie Sell and Alonso Cortheas put up the brick wall. That's the 3rd block in set 2 alone. The defense has been astounding. Finlay to the middle. Picked up by the Hoosiers. The Buffs out of system. Gorilovich uses the hands. She's now 1 away from double-digit kills in this match.
Here's a good point. The upcoming point is one to look out for the rest of this one. Because if Indiana can hold on to this 2-point lead and go win set 2, they haven't been reverse swept this entire year. And you're on the road if you're Colorado, not much is going for you. The side out percentage for Indiana has been around 70% the entire tournament. That has been the difference so far. Indiana's going on runs because they're not allowing Colorado to generate momentum, and a perfect example right there.
The Hoosiers, the first to 15. That brings us to our first break of set 2. We'll be right back with set number 2 on ESPN+. Well, it's been a historic season for this Indiana team. Most wins in program history. Did the same in the Big Ten, most conference road wins, and they also performed incredibly well against ranked teams. From start to finish, Indiana put on a show that many did not expect from them in the beginning of the season. As Alonso Cortheas goes cross court. She's now in double-digit kills, hitting above 450. But Luke, Indiana projected to finish 11th in the Big Ten this year, and they ended 5th in the conference.
They come into the tournament as a top 20 team in the RPI. They're the 15th overall seed, Graham. So much for 11th in the Big Ten for whatever that's worth. And now 2 quick ones out of the timeout. So you start combining all these thoughts we're talking about. The program success, maybe not supposed to be as good as some coaches, the preseason voters thought in the league. And out of a timeout, it comes back to Steve Aird. He truly is developing this program one building block at a time, and maybe just making the NCAA tournament or sneaking in would be one thing. But their ability to host, get the 4 seed, That's a bigger advantage than even being in the tournament, is what he told us. He said, we were more delighted to hear that than anything.
He said the ability for these players to just sleep in their own beds for a couple of nights is the biggest advantage you can have. And it's paying off for Alonso Cortez. That is already her 3rd point coming out of that timeout.
Graham, I know it's early, but you start looking up at the scoreboard. Indiana leads 1-0. They're up 18-13 in set 2. The Hoosiers are quickly putting it on the Buffaloes, and Colorado's got to turn this around before it's too late.
Finley looking for Jordan. Tatum picked it up. Alonso Cortez's tip gets her another point. That's the 12th kill of the night already for Alonso Cortez. And it's going to cause a Colorado timeout. Alonso Cortez, 7 kills in the first set, 5 already in set 2. We'll be right back on ESPN+. The Hoosiers extending a lead to 6 in set 2, and it's been because of that efficiency. Indiana with a .368 hitting percentage in set 2. The Buffaloes below 100. It has been so hard to come by a kill right now for Colorado, right at that Indiana block in defense.
Sometimes in our roll up here, Graham, you want to break down the one thing that a team is doing that's going to be the difference, or the one playmaker. But now through a full tournament game with the win yesterday, and just around half of tonight, Indiana is dominating every facet of both of the matches they've seen so far.
And they go right back to work with a big block. That was Krejcikovic to get hands on. The Hoosiers 5 blocks in this set. That doubles their block per set number coming into the match. And Avery Tatum with the 5th service error of the match for Indiana.
Indiana's tough to beat when they're the first team to 20. They're always focused on winning that battle. We've talked to Coach Aird numerous times throughout this season. He said the race to 20 is the first race to 25. I mean, we can get over that threshold. It's an added boost of confidence for our unit. We're not playing on our heels, maybe like Colorado is right now.
What a slam from Victoria Gray. She has been huge for Indiana in this last stretch of the season.
Take a look at this one. This is her shot. They set it up perfectly. A middle set from Krejcikovic. She gets the running start and the jackhammer of a right hand straight down into the hardwood. Victoria Gray is an unsung hero for this Indiana team. And if they're going to continue to make this tournament run, she is that caliber player.
She's hitting .445 over Indiana's last 2 matches with 17 kills, 12 of which came against the Purdue Boilermakers. Big block up front, Victoria Gray. She crossed the 100 block threshold against Toledo, the first Indiana freshman with 100+ blocks since 2007.
And she's juiced up. She's taken this role and combined it with a lot of swagger that she brings to the team. For just a freshman, you would never be able to tell. She turns around, she's the vocal leader, especially after she contributes offensively. You love to see that. Self-belief, self-confidence. You gotta have that collectively this time of the year in the tournament.
And that was the 6th service error of the match for Indiana. That ties their total from IU's last match against Toledo. Jager into a block, but out of bounds. She got enough power behind it to send it across the far line.
Set 1 went by pretty quick. Colorado made that push at the end. It didn't mean much. Indiana won 25-20. And you look up at the scoreboard now, Graham, this set 2, arguably more dominant. And that warrants a timeout.
Jesse Mahoney uses his second and last timeout of the second set. The Hoosiers 2 away from taking a 2-zip lead in Wilkinson Hall. The Hoosiers 2 points away from taking a 2-0 set lead, and Victoria Gray has come alive in this second set.
She has been a difference maker defensively, and once she gets going, she stays on the floor, she starts making plays. She's been set up by Krejcikovic. What a treat it's been to see the breakout freshman campaign in this second half of the season from Victoria Gray.
Buffalo's looking for a response. And it nearly was kept alive. Krejcikovic did a good job getting over there, but Sydney Jordan gets a kill.
See, Indiana tried to get cheeky there. They bring in Charlotte Vincent to serve. She has a rifle of a right arm. It was a good serve, but Colorado handled it well.
Jaeger uses the block, and what a bump set to get there. And the Hoosiers have set point in the second set against Colorado. Barilovic into the block. Back row attack, Jordan into the block. Barilovic gets it past him this time. That's Barilovic's 10th kill of the night. She's in double digits.
And Indiana, once again, Graham, they're okay with that. Let Barilovic get hers. Make it difficult, block it a couple times, wear her down, and make the rest of the Buffaloes beat you. And so far, they haven't.
Jaeger nearly got a crafty tip to fall. Krichkovic right back to her, and that time it does. Indiana takes set 2 against Colorado, looking for back-to-back sweeps in the NCAA tournament to advance to its first Sweet 16 since 2010. And it was a whole host of Hoosiers to really be effective and come alive in this second set. Alonso Cortez leading the charge, though, with over a .500 hitting percentage. And before we take a break, we're going to hear from Josie Broyles, who has Colorado coach Jesse Mahoney.
Thanks, guys. Here with Coach Mahoney. Coach, this is a really competitive matchup. What's that extra push that you're looking for from your team to stay in this game?
Oh, we have to pass better. We have to manage the speed of their offense. We haven't done that just yet. We're just out of system and scrambling, so we have to find ways to get in system.
And I know the stakes are really high. You're taking on IU here at home. How are you encouraging your team to stay confident?
Just fall back on what we do in practice every day and everything we've done to get to this point. And we've been in this position this season before, so it's nothing new.
All right, Coach, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Josie. The Buffaloes trying to give Indiana its first reverse sweep loss this season. The Hoosiers looking for one more to get to the Sweet 16. We'll be right back on ESPN+. Josie, you got a friend down there. Who you got?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm here with my friend Kona, Director of Happiness and Wellness. And you know, Kona here might just be IU's ticket to success. I mean, they are killing it. Kona, do you have anything special to say?
Yes, I want them to win.
He says, go Hoosiers. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Josie. Kona Bear, the Director of Athlete Wellness and Happiness in the building for Indiana's round 2 matchup.
Graham, I remember seeing a couple months ago you met Kona Bear. How was that experience?
Kona Bear was phenomenal. I came in for an interview. I think she could tell I was nervous because she sat right down next to me. And her mom, her owner, assistant coach of the Hoosiers, Rachel Morris, said that's what she does when she could tell someone's stressed.
So walk us through what she does for this team a little bit.
So she's an emotional support animal for the team. And what she does is, in moments where she can tell someone is stressed, she'll come up next to you and sit, be someone that you can pet, talk to, interact with, or she'll come between your legs and sit, is what I was told. And it's just one of those scenarios where everything's better with a dog around, right?
Of course.
And Kona Bear, one of the most well-behaved dogs that I have ever met, interacted with in my life. And the players have connected so much with her. I talked to Avery Tatum about Kona Bear, and she said that Kona has been unbelievable for her in her transfer to Indiana. I mean, no one quite like Kona Bear in this organization.
Sounds like there's a lot of fun dynamics within this team, where it's bookended with the older veterans, the younger freshmen. They said they all hang out, they cherish their relationships off the court just as much as they do as teammates. You're kind of spearheaded with, I would like to call Steve Aird a swaggy coach. If you follow him on Twitter, he's got the OVO profile picture. That's Drake the rapper from Canada's kind of brand. he recruits extremely well, and you only have to talk to him and be around this program, or even Kona Bear, the dog, to realize why these high-level players are coming to Indiana, and now you're starting to see the success when it matters most on the court.
It's been impressive. Steve Aird has really built something here at Indiana. A couple seasons ago said he felt like his team should have gotten a bit into the NCAA tournament. Last year he was hopeful, but injuries just kind of riddled the team and they weren't able to reach that potential. This year, he's been extremely happy with the team, and it's been because of leaders like that, Avery Tatum.
Dive into this third set a little bit, Graham. It's do or die for Colorado. It has been all Indiana so far. They're hitting over 400 for hitting percentage. Colorado at 190 as a team. The Airs are right there on par. It's just the side out percentage. Indiana up to 75%. They're not losing consecutive points, and that's kept them in the driver's seat the entire way.
And it feels like it's going to come down to Ana Barilovic, who just got that big kill to keep Colorado's playoff hopes alive. Jesse Mahoney, head coach for the Buffaloes, doing a really impressive thing, bringing these Colorado Buffaloes back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2022. They were projected to finish 10th in the Big 12 before the season started. They finished 4th. And the Big 12 has the most teams in the NCAA tournament. It was not an easy conference.
And he talked about that with us on our call with them. I like that he mentioned we played 15 tournament teams in the regular season. So we wanted that. We liked the tough conference. And for that exact reason, he was confident, even with his unit losing 3 of their final 4 regular season matches, that they were 10-5 in those 15 matches against projected tournament teams at the time. So he said, we rise to the occasion against good opponents.
And we've got another Colorado coaching challenge. This is the second of the night from head coach Jesse Mahoney. He was successful with his first challenge, so he retains both of them in this third set. And it looks like he's challenging that this ball did not hit the line. Oh.
I don't know if you're going to get that one. Call on the floor was a point for the Hoosiers. That's a great camera shot. Good work to our ESPN Plus crew here in Bloomington. All kinds of angles on that one. I just don't know if it's enough.
Right.
I definitely see a world where maybe the shadow is covering the line a little bit more than we think.
And an unsuccessful challenge. So Coach Mahoney will lose 1 of 2. Indiana retains the point, and Hannah Leftridge will go back to serve.
You're in desperation mode, down 2-0 if you're Colorado. So after the intermission break, they're going to pull out all of the tricks here. Different looks defensively, try and generate their outside hitters with plus opportunities on the offensive end.
Barilovic, a crafty off-speed shot.
That's world class right there. To gear up for the high-powered cross-court kill and swing the whole defense to the far side of the court and just a little bit of finesse with the touch.
She's back to serve now. Barilovic, 31 attacks in this match. As Alonso Cortez goes with a tip herself. But that's been the real issue, it feels like, for the Buffaloes, is that with Barilovic being so talented, Indiana is kind of getting a good beat on who they're going to go to.
And they can gear up for it. You've seen Indiana have a couple blocks tonight, but Indiana has just been a little bit more deep offensively. When you can give Alonso Cortez a break, catch her energy, get Tatum involved. You've seen Jager already have a big night.
Grichkovic couldn't quite get that one to go over. She's done that once already.
But crazier things have happened in this sport this time of year. It's the NCAA tournament we're talking about after all. And for Indiana at home with the momentum they have right now, they're focused on slamming the door shut.
And there's service error number 8 for the Buffaloes. They only had 5 in yesterday's match, a 3-setter against American University. That's kind of been their Achilles heel, really taking away any momentum that they've been able to build up. Barilovic nearly got the off-speed to fall.
Good block from Colorado. That's a good sign. They weren't getting that in the first 2 sets, Graham.
Jordan trying to capitalize. Alonso Cortez keeps it alive, and she does it twice. Jager Can't get it past Barilovic on the back line. Jordan tools the block.
Barilovic, dig of the night so far. Yes, it was athletic, she dove, but the timeliness of it. Early on in set 3, Colorado trying to keep a lead, get comfortable, and it sets up a Buffalo point.
Barilovic leading Colorado currently in kills, attempts, and digs. She's doing it all for CU. Jaeger finds the floor, painting the corners. It was a long bump set, and still she's able to get a good swing on it.
And that's the story so far. Indiana was off schedule again there, Graham. That was the 3rd consecutive point. But they were out of their rotation, and they just have simply had the playmakers who have gone and captured points on their own.
Finley near side, there's a tip and a kill for Dwinell. That's only the 6th attempt for Dwinell. Barilovic has 32. Jordan has 16, Payne has 10. If you look at Indiana, there are 3 different Hoosiers in double digits, 2 with 20 plus. But now the Buffalo's starting to find a bit of momentum.
This is what they did in the first 2 sets, Graham. They started off, they dictated the pace. It's been slow. They're playing good defense. But at some point, once either team gets to that 8 to 10 point range is when Indiana has taken over the first 2 sets. Colorado has got to try and stay strong.
And what a down the line swing there from Alonso Cortheas. Kill number 14. She's hitting a .565 hitting percentage.
I mean, she is just painting. Right hand down the line, a little bit of English on it. That's a professional if I've seen one.
She hit .265 yesterday, is nearly doubling that up in this contest as the Buffaloes answer right back. It's felt like out of these back and forths in every set, Indiana has always been the one to come out on top with a run. And it's been because Colorado hasn't been able to hold the serve. Bump set from Jackson. Tatum into a block, and she uses it to her advantage.
If Indiana holds on to this 2-0 lead and advances to the Sweet 16, the thing that we're going to be talking about with the Hoosiers is their serve receive right now, and especially side out percentage, because yesterday they finished at 75% in their sweep over Toledo. So far tonight they're at 76%. They're not losing consecutively. When they're messing up offensively, they're getting it right back on the defensive end.
And a huge block there for Maddie Sell. Keeps Jaden Jaeger on the service line. Wild to think about. Indiana has won 76% of points that have begun with a Colorado serve.
And that's how it was yesterday at 75% against Toledo. Mind you, Toledo went into yesterday's matchup the #1 team in the country in the service ace category.
And the Buffaloes, no aces in this game either. Indiana's receiving has been phenomenal. 8 service errors. We said at the beginning of the match that the errors, the mistakes, were really going to be what dictates this match. Barilovic into a block. Avery Tatum pumped up her 5th block of the night.
That front line for Indiana is starting to get going. And this all plays into the Hoosiers' game plan. Wear down Barilovic. Let those springs get a little bit of rust in them come the 3rd and 4th set. And finally, Tatum, Sell, etc. can wall up and really be a presence defensively. That's cheeky right there.
Good court awareness from Finley. That's only the 2nd time that we've seen her do that, as she's now actually going to come out. Colorado going to Audrey S. Leeson. Leeson's played in 60 sets this season. And the Buffaloes turning to a different option. And it was a big block, but just couldn't find that sideline. Point Indiana.
The harder you hit it, the harder it comes off. And that time it plays into Indiana and Alonso Cortheas' advantage. Where the block was set up perfectly, it was well positioned. They got a good piece off a couple forearms, but it goes out of play for an Indiana point.
Big swing on the near side. Sydney Jordan.
Jordan's been quiet. That's just her 7th kill so far. Remember, she had 15 against American in this building yesterday.
And a brilliant serve there, or excuse me, set there from Ryan Finley, who checked back into the game before that point. Nasty topspin from Loshada. Bump set from Finley. And into the net, Sydney Jordan couldn't locate.
Just didn't get all of that one. Maybe caught it off the wrist, forearm area. Jordan is a dynamic offensive player, and that one was a direct shot straight into the net.
That's the 15th attacking error on the night for the Buffaloes.
Jesse Mahoney has to be somewhat pleased, and I saw him clapping when they dug out Alonso Cortheas's kill attempt on that previous point. The defense is slowly improving for Colorado.
And Barilovic continues her steady attack. With that, she'll just creep into the 200s for her hitting percentage. But the Buffaloes hitting at .218 in this match. It just hasn't been consistent.
All it takes is one 3 to 5 point run, Graham. It felt like Indiana got that in the first set. They used it as their advantage to dominate the second set. And right now, for the first time all night, we're into double figures for both teams. By 50% through this set, and Colorado has been the better team in set 3.
Jaeger uses the block. Jaden Jaeger, double-digit kills with that swing right there. She's the first Indiana player since 2018 to have more than 20 double-digit kill performances as a freshman.
Colorado defensively has had their hands full because Jaeger has been, like you said, using the block.
And that's how Colorado's going to need to take advantage in this third set. Use the errors, use the mistakes from Indiana. They just haven't done so in the first two. Grichkovich right back to Jaeger.
Tic-tac-toe, Graham. Dig, set, kill. That's Indiana's game. And this is casually a freshman for the Hoosiers, Jaeger. Steve Ayer told me he thinks she was snubbed for Big Ten Freshman of the Year.
Yeah.
He thought when she came to Indiana, she was under-recruited, and she was a top 40 recruit nationally.
Good touch from Barilovic. Just getting that to land in front of Alonso Cortheas. It's an interesting conversation about Victoria Gray because she has been so crucial, so important for this Indiana team, playing 6 rotations. And with Colorado getting to 15 points, we're going to take a break. The Buffaloes trying to steal set 3 in Wilkinson Hall. Anna Barilovic, an incredible season in her junior year. First team All Big 12 member, led the Big 12 in kills, and has been the biggest attacker for Colorado. 38 attempts tonight, 16 kills. As Indiana comes out of the break with a big one there, trying to retake the lead from Colorado. But the issue with Barilovic being so good and so strong is that Indiana started to predict that they're going to go to her.
And you can't stop her, you can only neutralize her. So Indiana's kind of had the mentality so far tonight of let their star, or mind you, the star of the Big 12, she's #1 in points per set, and arguably a top 2 or 3 conference of college volleyball this year in the Big 12. So let the queen of the Big 12 get her own. But what can we do to the counterparts to slow them down? And that's where Steve Ayer and the rest of his staff have really won in the game plan department now midway through set 3.
Tatum, an unbelievable dig from Peyton Neal. And a traffic on the near pin. Finley just couldn't quite get out of the way of Barilovic.
Take another look at this one. Well, that's not supposed to happen.
Some frustration on the Buffalo side. Slide set and a big swing from Kayla Payne.
I've been saying it all night, Graham. Where has Kayla Payne been? When they focus on her in a set piece, type of set like that, Payne is delivering brutality to Indiana. She is so physical, right on that front line. She can move, and her right hand has been on fire in the tournament.
And it turns into an ace for Barilovic. The Buffaloes creeping closer to the red zone, and Steve Aird wants a timeout to talk things over. Told us how important it is to get to 20 first, and the Hoosiers looking to come back and get to that number before the Buffaloes on ESPN+. The Buffaloes with a 3-point lead in set 3, trying to reverse a losing percentage in the second round. This is the first time the Buffaloes have made it to the NCAA tournament since 2022, trying to reach the regional semifinal for the first time since the 2010s, back in 2017. Alonzo Cortez off a block, so crafty.
The Jaeger set.
Yeah.
You're immediately off schedule there if Indiana. You're out of the timeout, you're trailing by 3 deep into this third set. To be able to have a freshman make that play on the run to set up your superstar, now you have momentum out of the timeout.
And Tatum with a service error gives Colorado a point right back.
This Colorado team is not going to fold, Graham. We mentioned earlier, they had a disappointing 2024, and Jesse Mahoney was the first to tell us that. He said at the 2/3 mark of this season, the whole team kind of looked around and said, whoa, we're pretty good. We're a tournament team, and they're not playing with much to lose.
Victoria Gray can't get it past Barilovic. The joust, one up front by Colorado. And it's interesting, too, as Indiana calls a second timeout. Steve Aird not happy with the Buffaloes getting to the red zone first. Wants to make sure the Hoosiers can mount an attack late in set 3 to try to sweep the Buffaloes and make it to the regional semifinals. We'll be right back on ESPN+. Colorado finding its groove, trying to pull off the reverse sweep in Wilkinson Hall. Over the course of the match, their hitting percentage at .268. In this third set, the Buffaloes hitting .550. And Loshada trying to keep the service streak alive. Finley, back row attack, Barilovic. Anna Barilovic on her 40th attempt gets kill number 18.
This is a Barilovic blast right into the Indiana bench. Buffs up 5 late in the third set, trying to get on the board here in Bloomington. That's the last thing that Jesse Mahoney wants to see. Unforced errors when you're in control of a set.
And service error number 9 for the Buffaloes. Their saving grace has been that Indiana has 8 service errors on its own side.
I will say, if you're Indiana, though, when you're leading by 2 sets, you can maybe get a little bit more aggressive on the serve. For Colorado, every point is so valuable with your back against the wall.
Jordan's tip picked up by Alonzo Cortez. The Buffaloes out of system. Jordan takes a swing this time. Picked up by Freeman, and Jaeger just can't get it past a pancake. Krichkovic right back to Jaeger into a block. Back row attack, Barilovic.
Buffs are relentless right now, Graham. Those were the type of points in the first 2 sets that Indiana was in control of. And now Colorado, that front line, they're getting aggressive. They're blocking Jaeger. It's going to take a Hail Mary from Indiana if they want to try and steal set 3 and win this baby in straight sets.
And that's going to help the Hoosier cause. Jaden Jaeger right back to work, hitting right around 400 in the match.
Look out for Hannah Leftridge. She comes in the game as the Indiana libero. And she has been productive on serve. They actually just brought her out immediately.
They brought in Jessica Smith, who didn't play last match against Toledo. She typically plays back row for Tatum. Bump set from Freeman. Jaeger can't get it past Morton again. Freeman digs Barilovic. Back row swing from Smith.
Smith doesn't play in the opening round of the tournament. And welcome back to action. Welcome back to Bloomington. Jessica Smith when Indiana needs her most in set 3.
The advantage for playing Smith in the back row. She's an outside hitter by trade. Can take those kind of back row swings. Freeman with an unbelievable dig. Right side into a block. Jordan keeps it alive. Krichkovich to Jager. Fireworks in Wilkinson Hall. The Buffaloes call timeout as Indiana gets itself into the red zone.
This is electric, Graham. How about this crowd? How about the showing from the Hoosiers? Down by 5, they've battled it within 2. Let's stick around, let's talk about it a little bit. Indiana down 2 on a little bit of a run. The crowd is now involved. A good time out there from Colorado, but I think this gives Steve Aird and his squad a little bit more juice. You start strategizing, who do you want in at this stage of the contest? Because if you're Indiana, just as much as Colorado's putting all their eggs in trying to survive into a 4th set, the Hoosiers are going to do everything they can to put the Buffs away and smush them when you can, because Colorado is playing a lot better volleyball in this 3rd set than we've seen from them all night.
It felt like this place was just waiting for a reason to explode, and Indiana delivers. It was a pretty quick first couple of sets. The Hoosiers took care of business, and now that Colorado's giving them some adversity, they're starting to find it again.
You hit the nail on the head. We looked at each other about the midway point of this 3rd set and said, feels a little bit dead in here. We've been in here during conference games, and this place, Wilkinson Hall, is always rocking. But I looked at you and I said, I feel like Indiana made the first sets look too easy. This run here, and the crowd being the most engaged they've been all night, they can feel it. Indiana has a chance to steal this 3rd set and come out with a 3-0 sweep. And it starts with this first point out of the timeout. You either get it within 1 or you trail by 3, and the Buffs would only need 2 more.
3-0 scoring run for the Hoosiers, charged by Jessica Smith, who didn't play in the first 2 sets. And the Hoosier run continues. Maddie Sell and Teodora Krichkovich with a huge block. That's number 10 on the night for the Indiana front.
That's the Indiana setter, Krichkovich, getting a majority of that one. Unbelievable, so versatile, and showing up in the biggest moments as a freshman.
Float serve, almost hit the floor for Smith. And a miss near side from Dwinell. We're tied at 22.
Starting to see it, Graham. If the right hand on the attack is not there from Barilovich, Indiana has an extreme advantage.
Another block up front. Solo for Maddie Sell.
Take it to the bank, Graham. Maddie Sell proving to be the biggest when it matters most. This Indiana team is a puzzle, and every piece is fitting perfectly so far in the NCAA tournament.
Another timeout for the Buffaloes. The Hoosiers on a 6-0 scoring run to take the lead. They're trying to close the deal in set 3, sweep the Buffaloes, and advance to the Sweet 16. We'll be right back on ESPN+. 6-0 scoring run for the Indiana Hoosiers to take the lead in the red zone in set 3. And it's been the serving of Jessica Smith to carry him this far. Barilovich can't get past Freeman. Jager didn't get the tip. The entire bench wanted it. Steve Aird is immediately up from his seat.
Wonder what this discussion is, Graham.
And it looks like he's not going to use a challenge. I'm guessing he was trying to decide whether or not to pull the trigger there.
That was an enormous point for Colorado. And the run, tie things up. This is what the tournament's all about. 2 high-ranked seeds going head-to-head deep into this 3rd set, all square at 23 apiece.
And a late substitution for Mahoney, bringing out Olivia Grenadier, and in comes Maria Spławska. Jager does it again.
Off schedule, no problem. Jaeger, all rise in Wilkinson Hall. The vertical ability and the smash with the right hand.
Indiana 1 point away from the sweep and advancing to its first regional semifinal since 2010. And that's how it ends. A miss from Barilovich. Indiana advances to the regional semifinal in the Texas quadrant.
How sweet it is, Graham, going to the Sweet 16 for the second time in program history. Steve Aird, I know you don't like to smell the roses, but you sure do deserve your flowers. The upbringing of this program, their ability to take this hosting opportunity and not come out nervous, not come out slow, to rise to the occasion. And I can confidently say this has been the best Indiana has looked the entire season. And it's been a historic year in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament.
And you can see the emotion on the faces of these Indiana players. The historic run continues as they run to their loyal student section for what could be the last time this season. They're advancing to the regional semifinal.
Indiana volleyball, it's a family and it's here to stay in Bloomington. Wilkinson Hall was built, Steve Aird was hired, and this student section, along with the tremendous athletes on this volleyball team, are spark plugging this program into a legitimate national contender. The first team into the Sweet 16.
And no idea yet who it will be that Indiana will play. Texas and Penn State, the 2 other seeded teams in this quadrant, playing in their first round matches tonight, waiting to see who will make it to round 2. And we've got Josie Broyles down on the floor with Candela Alonso-Cortez.
Thank you, guys. You just won your second round NCAA volleyball championship game. What's going through your head?
Look, this is a dream. I've been here for 4 years, and we couldn't ask for something better than this.
Your relationship with your teammates is obviously so strong. What makes them so special?
We have a very good connection. We love each other. We love playing with each other, and that's what makes it so special.
And this IU community is standing behind you throughout the entirety of this tournament. What does that mean to you?
That means everything. I feel like we couldn't win if we don't have this amount of people supporting us. So like half of the work is because of them too.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Toss back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Josie. Candela Alonso-Cortez hitting .556 in this matchup. Her highest hitting percentage since November 20th against Rutgers, and it came at an unbelievable time. Her highest hitting percentage of the season.
Everybody, the collective effort, but the staple at the end, Graham, a 7-1 scoring run. We were looking at each other, everybody was here. Go get some popcorn, go get a snack. This is going to a 4th set. Steve Aird called a timeout when Indiana was down 5. And that was all she wrote after that timeout.
Indiana advancing to its first Sweet 16 since 2010, awaiting to see who they will face in the rest of the bracket. But for us, that is going to do it here in Wilkinson Hall. For our entire production crew, for our producer, Emily Fox, our director, Henry Thuss, for my partner, Luke Brenneman, Josie Broyles, I'm Graham Nash, saying so long from Bloomington. Indiana wins in straight sets on ESPN+.